Hi my gems, welcome back to my channel, and I'm extending a warm welcome to those of you who are new. I am your host. My name is Crystal. So let's get right into today's topic. We're going to cover some signs that you may not be ready to date or re-enter the dating game. You're in a position where you just went through a breakup and maybe you feel like you've spent enough time alone and you're ready to dip your toe in the dating pool. But before you do that, please watch this video and hopefully I'm able to kind of guide you on what to look out for within yourself so that you can find out if you really are ready. So let's get right into today's topic. If you still have really low self-esteem, if you have no confidence or very little confidence in yourself, if you're still self-conscious, like you still struggle with it greatly, if you're still harboring shame about any aspect of things about you that you cannot change, if you still indulge in crippling negative self-talk, you're not ready to date. You're still not ready, and that's okay, but please, if you're not coming to the table with a glass full of confidence and self-worth, then you really have no business trying to find anything in this dating scene, especially this dating game. With this generation, it's very different than before. If you do not come to the table with an enormous amount of self-worth, you will get eaten alive, my dear. So please sit this one out. Get that self-worth, that self-esteem where it needs to be. Number 2, if you are desperate, keyword desperate, for marriage, kids, any kind of relationship, romantic relationship, you're not ready. You're not ready yet. Desperation, if you're desperate and you're entering any kind of anything really with desperate energy, it's not going to work out for you. It's the perfect repellent for good things, for blessings, for genuine people. So if you're entering the dating game, this dating game with desperation, and you just by any means necessary, you just want a man and the house and the picket fence and the kids, you're going to go through hell. People are going to put you through the ringer to prove your worthiness or to prove that you want to be there. And because you're desperate, you'll do anything to maintain that spot. So if you want to win at this dating game, please don't enter it with any kind of desperation for kids, for kids, for the man, for the husband, for the whatever you're looking for, okay? Don't be desperate. The third sign that you may not be ready to date is if you're already in a relationship. Ooh, yeah. If you're in a relationship that's dying and you're just waiting for things to kind of settle so that you can get on to the next best thing, I don't think that's the most productive way to navigate this dating scene. Give yourself time, even if you're emotionally detached from the person that you're still technically in a relationship with. I just feel like no matter how insignificant the relationship was, you really need time to reflect after the relationship is actually finished. You've physically separated from that person. You really need alone time to reflect, to learn your lessons, to see if maybe you'd like to do things differently so things can maybe work out in your favor a little better. Yeah, and that takes time. I mean, you don't have to take 5 years, but take some time to really cope with the loss of your relationship. And if you can't do that if you're still in a relationship. So it doesn't matter if you've moved on emotionally and you've detached yourself emotionally, you still need extra time to physically be apart from the person and to be alone. I really believe in that. So If you're in a relationship, you're not ready to date. The fourth sign that you're not ready to date is if you don't want to be alone. Hear me out. Meaning you think that being in a relationship is better than being alone. It might sound a little crazy, right? Like, of course, to some people would say, of course being in a relationship is better than being alone. But is it really? Like, you should really, the best way to tell if you're ready for a relationship is if you've gotten to a place where your alone time, your time with yourself, your self-care, your self-love is so sweet that you almost don't want to give it up to have a person re-enter or enter your life, period. If your alone time is so unbearable that you feel like having someone else around is going to be better than your alone time, then I would suggest you invest in your alone time, invest in your self-care, because that is your base in this life. That is always your home base in this life. So if it doesn't feel right, if your home base does not feel comfortable, then you need to really hone in on that and figure out why that is. And you definitely don't need to be dating. The fifth sign that you're not ready to date is you think that having a man will solve your problems, whether they be financial problems, mental issues, emotional issues. You think that having a man or finding that guy is going to solve those issues that you're having. And that's simply not true. First of all, it's not the responsibility of any man who's expressing interest in you romantically to fix your problems. I mean, he should if he likes you enough. That's what I think. Because in this life, the truth of the matter is no one is coming to save you. And even if he comes to save you, best believe it comes with many stipulations and fine print. So nothing in this life is just free. You're not going to just coast through and just be taken care of in a way. And also, especially when it comes to the emotional and mental issues or whatever qualms you have with your mental or emotional state, that's something you have to dive into yourself. No one can do the work for you. So yeah, but my whole thing is you shouldn't expect that of a person, because first of all, not everyone is capable to be that emotionally intelligent to take on your issues. Most people can't even handle their own issues, their own core beliefs. So imagine taking on someone else's. It's almost irresponsible to expect that of a man, because he might not be very good at taking on those issues. And then now you're in a situation where you're not feeling too good about that, and then you're basically back at square one. So yeah, if you think having a man is going to solve your problems and that having a man, he's going to save you and fix things, no, sweetheart, you need to fix things yourself. That's all I'm saying. The sixth sign that you're not ready to date is you do not have the basics, girly. So that means you don't have a car, you don't have a home, and you don't have a job, profession, career, a way, or a means to make money. If you do not have those things, you're kind of setting yourself up to be taken advantage of. Romantic relationships are not a need. It's not a necessity. Like, I'm not saying be a hermit and just not date anyone, but a romantic relationship is really an add-on to the life you've already built for yourself. So if you don't have the basic minimum things like car, home, job, you need to focus on those, get that together before you enter any kind of coupling. I know that a lot of people feel like men are stupid and things like that. Men are dumb, they don't know what they're doing. And it's so funny, in media, from when we were young, we've been consuming content that's centered around a family unit where, like any kind of sitcom, if you think about any sitcom, any children's show that has a family on it, the man is the dumbest thing on the face of this earth. Like, he's so incompetent, so irresponsible, he's causing so many issues, and he's just like messing everything up. And then the woman is the one to be like, hey, this is the right way to do things, and she's the more competent parent. Even in kids shows, this has been pushed, this message that men are dumb, men are stupid, and women are more competent, and we're just like so smart. And like, specifically in a family setting, I feel like it grooms women to make excuses for men, like, oh, he didn't know what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. He knows. Yeah, men are smart. They're very smart. They know what they're doing. They have to be smart to survive. You know, they must be smart to get laid, and they have to be calculated to get women to like them, you know, because not everyone is blessed with physical beauty, and even so, that can only get you so far for so long, right? So if your only takeaway from this video is men are not dumb, then I'd be so happy. Men are not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing, and everything they do is very much intentional. So why I'm saying that is because if you encounter a man and he knows you don't have a car, job, home, you know, roof over your head, he's not dumb. And because he's not dumb, he knows that he doesn't want to be taken advantage of by a woman who doesn't have the essentials of life. And he knows that if you were in a better position, you probably wouldn't be that interested in him. And then that can lead to you being exploited, taken advantage of, because you need to be able to take care of yourself. If you give a man the ability to feed you, then he has the ability to starve you. So you need to be able to have your own place, your own thing going on for yourself. And please just don't do anything to set yourself to be taken advantage of. And just know, like, men know this. So if you're trying to date, first of all, I don't know how you can date when you know, like, your basic essentials are not where they need to be. Like, what are you gonna do? How can you live? I don't know. So instead of putting energy into romantic relationships, you must put energy into getting those parts of your life together. It's really important. The 7th sign that you're not ready to date is you don't have a life. You don't have a life. You don't have goals, hobbies, aspirations, friends. You do not have a life outside of whatever guy is going to come into your life. That's a big problem for so many reasons. The 2 main reasons is really, if you're more introverted, that's okay. Opposites attract sometimes, right? So you can be introverted into yourself, but I would really want for you to have a life, whether it be a pickleball group, you play tennis with some people, you go to the golf course, you just have like a group of people that you can hang out with, you have similar interests, and you can just be around each other. And yeah, those are your friends. Like, you need to have friends, and that's a great way to make friends, is just to like go places where people do things that you want to do, right? It's a great conversation starter. Goals, hobbies, career, whatever it is, like, you need to have those things outside of whatever person you're going to meet. And it's so important to have outside friendships, and it's healthy to have outside friendships that are separate from your romantic relationship. So if you haven't set that up yet, then that's another place where you can place your energy. You can put your energy into finding new friends, finding out more about yourself. What are your hobbies? What are your likes and dislikes? You know, dating is not just about sitting in front of someone and looking cute and acting dumb. Like, that's not what dating is about. Like, you need to have a life so that when your lives come together, you have something meaningful. In addition to that, you're going to feel so bad if your guy has a life and you don't. And it's not his fault that he has a life. He has friends, he has the guys, and someone's getting married and he has a wedding to go to, or a bachelor party to go to, or his group that he plays whatever sport with, pickleball, whatever, like, they're meeting they're going out for drinks, they're doing social things, like, and you will feel bad if you don't have that and you see your partner going out and doing those things. I would say that's a huge green flag. It's so indicative of a balanced person who's able to socialize outside of you. And instead of raining on his parade, you should just have your own life, your own friends, your own interests, your own things you like to do outside of the things you will do with your partner. It's so important. So if you don't have those things, if you haven't set up your life, then you really have no business being a wife, girlfriend, partner, whatever. Please focus on yourself, focus on your life. The eighth sign that you're not ready to date yet, you don't know who you are. You don't know your value system. You're unsure of what religion you subscribe to. You have a huge question mark over your moral compass. Like, you don't know who you are. That's not a good sign. You need to know who you are and be so sure of that, so that when you encounter another person, you know for sure who you are. The thing is, you will be challenged when you're dating, right? That's just, especially when you're a woman dating, you know, sometimes people just want to pluck you from your life, separate you, and just sew you into the fabric of their life. And that's not how things should work. That's not healthy. The ninth sign that you're not ready to date is you're still a people pleaser. And it's okay if you were raised to be a people pleaser. Most people were. I feel like that's the standard. Some people grow out of it, some people don't, right? So if you're still a people pleaser and you have this overwhelming sense of guilt when you say no, or when you enforce your boundaries, or when you say, I can't do that, I will not do that, I don't feel comfortable, and you speak up for yourself and your comfortability, if you still feel that overwhelming sense of guilt where you're going to bed that night and just replaying the scenario in your head and losing sleep over the fact that you simply said no, you're not ready to date yet. You still have to work on that. There's still something under that where you just need to give more time to it and really unearth what's going on, because you have to be ruthless in the dating game in order to survive and to have favorable outcomes, right? If you still feel like you can't say no to men, or that makes you uncomfortable to inconvenience them in any way, you're not there yet. Reel it in. Please go back to the drawing board. Thank you. It's on the left. The 10th indication that you're not ready to start dating again is if you still think that men are your friends. If you still think as a woman that men are capable of being your genuine friends at this big age, if you're in middle school or high school, like, okay, sure, men can be your boys. Those are boys. Those are not even men. Boys can be your friends, but grown folks, men and women, cannot be friends. They cannot simply be friends, because most women will not cross the line with their male friends, right? But male friends, if given the opportunity, they will absolutely sleep with you. They will cross the line and they will be tap dancing on the line, right? So because of that imbalance, you should just know, you should just have experienced life enough to this point to just know that most men do not have your best interest at heart, especially at first. You kind of have to manipulate them into liking you, and into not just liking you, but into not hurting you. And I really feel that way. If you still feel like men are something to be nice to, and you have to be nice to them, and they're deserving of your kindness and things like that, I would say you are setting yourself up for failure, and you need to let go of that way of thinking, because that's not going to work out for you. You're not ready. You're not ready to date. You will not survive this dating game. You can do whatever you want, but you will not survive. The 11th sign that you are not ready to date. You're a pick-me. If you're a pick-me girl, meaning that you seek validation excessively. Like you're really seeking validation from men. You haven't grown up yet. And I must say that most of us women in our earlier years were some level of a pick-me. Also, pick-me's have internalized misogyny. That's basically what's at the root of their behavioral patterns. It's basically their reason why they have internalized misogyny, and they just like put down other women to elevate themselves to be desirable or seen as more desirable to men, right? It's a very male-centered way of being. And it's fine to be male-centered, but not at the expense of other women. It shouldn't be that way, but I feel like most women go through a phase where they are the cool girl, they are the people pleaser, and they kind of indulge in those behaviors, and they have a lot of internalized misogyny, and then they get to a place where they realize through life experiences the truth. And I wouldn't even judge a girl who's a pick-me if she's young, right? If she's a young girly in her late teens, early 20s, I wouldn't judge her if she's still a pick-me, because hey, we've all been there. But if you're of a certain age and you're still a pick-me and you're still like competing with other women for men and feeling like it could never be you and you're just so different from other women, then you haven't lived enough to realize that that's not the truth, and you'll get there. All in all, if you're still a pick-me, you're not ready to date. All you're doing is you're walking around the dating scene with a huge poster board saying, please use me, and I'm the cool girl, and I will go to any extent to prove that I'm the cool girl, and men are the prize. Okay, so good luck with that. But it's not going to work out for you, and you're not going to have favorable outcomes. And that is the goal here on this channel, is to have favorable outcomes when we're dating, when we're doing anything in this life. The 12th and final indicator that you are not ready to date is you're still talking about your ex excessively. And I know when you go on dates, there is a point in the dating process where you're getting to know someone and they're curious as to why you're single, or how long you've been single, or what happened in your last relationship. Please be aware, ladies, that men are smart. Men are intentional. They know exactly what they're doing, okay? So when they ask you about what happened in the last relationship or your most recent relationship, they're really trying to gauge what they can get away with you and what you will allow, even though you may never allow certain behaviors ever in your life. It's just best to be on the side of being aloof and kind of mysterious and vague. The best response to when a man asks you about an ex or what happened with your last relationship is just say this: I don't know, we just grew apart, we weren't really properly matched, it just didn't work out. That's all you have to say. And that's mostly all they want to hear, honestly, unless they are like super manipulative and they keep pushing the envelope. Then you know they're trying to get information on you, or they're trying to figure out, they're just trying to get as much information about you as possible. And that's okay. You know, it's a game. Dating is a game, right? Like, we're all playing to win. So there's nothing wrong with the game, but just understand when certain questions are asked, you have to be able to read between the lines of what they're trying to say. So if you are asked that question, hey, what happened with your last relationship? How long ago was it? And your response is to just go on and on about the ins and outs of your last relationship and the details and how this happened, and then you said this and they said this. And first of all, if you can still remember that, you're not ready to date. If you can still remember all of the trauma to the point where you're still talking about it, you need to take some time off, because you should have forgotten a lot of it. It should be like in the back of your subconscious somewhere, waiting to be unearthed by a hypnotist or something. Like, you shouldn't just be ready to just divulge that information or to grant anyone that valuable information about your experience on this planet as a human being. So if you're still yakking at the mouth like about an ex, please, like, you're not over it or something. You might be over the person, but you're not over what happened to you. It kind of connects back to self-worth. If you are so pick-me-ish and lacking self-worth to the point where you feel like you even owe anyone an explanation as to what happened in your last relationship, that's exactly why I said what I said during this video, okay? So, you know, I say all of this with love, and I hope you learned something. But if, you know, you can date whenever you want. You don't have to listen to me. Who am I, right? But I'm telling you, if you have those issues and you're entering this dating scene, this generation, you already know. Even if you don't know and you're not actively dating, you know by how people are talking on the internet. You see it when you're walking around, you hear conversations with people. This is not the most ideal setting to have romantic relationships right now, but we have to live, right? So you have to make sure that you are very firm in your boundaries, very firm and strong in your intentions, clear on what you want and what you will not allow. And that's the only way that you'll be able to walk away from anything that doesn't serve you or anything that is a ruse. And yeah, best of luck to you, girlies. So I hope you learned something today from moi, and please take my advice. But if not, hey, and if you've had different experiences, leave a comment below. And if you have any other signs or indicators that we can share amongst us that indicate that you're not ready to date again or re-enter the dating scene, please leave them below in a comment. It was lovely chatting with you, girlies, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye.